everybody, I'm Amy from the Cauldron, and what you can see here is 100 grams of frozen, washed but not carded fleece. See, there's a bit here that's sort of sticking out of the ice. This has been frozen in water and vinegar. I've been debating what I want to do with this, if I want to take it out of the pot or not, out of this little container or not. I've decided that I'm going to leave it in here for now, and I will remove it when it's time to heat set. The dyes I'm using today are black acid dye from DT Craft and Design, fluorescent fuchsia, and Valentine's blush and frozen. Now this is an animal fibre, so I can use acid dyes or fibre reactive dyes. It just needs an acid, and there is vinegar in here already, and it needs heat to set the colour to the fibre, which I will heat set this once all this is frozen. So I've got my mask on, I've got my gloves on, and I'm protecting my work surface with this old tea towel. And I've got a dedicated dye spoon here, and I'm just going into the Valentine blush. I've not really used this one before. I think the only time I used it was to make my little swatch samples, and it was a bit of a bitty one. There were lots of little bits left in this, and it didn't produce a solid colour, sort of a bitty colour. It was pretty, but not really what I was going for. I'm going to go into the fluorescent fuchsia now, and I've got a new spoon, and I'm just going to, what should I do? I think I'm going to do the fluorescent fuchsia this side. I don't want to use too much of this because it can be a bleeder and it can be quite hard to set. So I'm just going to probably just go with this. And this powder is a lot finer than the Valentine blush. Just have a look at the two side by side. You've got the Valentine blush here. You can see it's almost sandy in this, whereas this is very fine powder, the fluorescent fuchsia. I've got another dedicated dye spoon, and I'm going to go with the frozen. I'm going to put, I love this colour, so I'm going to go in quite heavy handed there. There we go. A little bit more. I think that will do for the fluorescent, for the frozen, which is a beautiful blue. And then finally going in to the black. Don't often use black, and when I do, it usually ends up more of a grey tone. So I'm not expecting this to be black. I'm expecting more sort of a grey, charcoaly tone. I'm having to use the end of this spoon because the pot is so tiny. I can't actually get the spoon into this. Now my fibre reactive black splits into some gorgeous colours, blues, yellows and pinks. So I'm very curious to see if this black splits at all. It doesn't look like it at the moment. I'm just spreading it out a little bit. Right, the spoon isn't going to go back into the dye, so I don't mind if there's a little bit of black goes over here into the blue. There we go. How pretty does that look? I love it. We're going for a bit of a close-up. You can see this is the Valentine's blush. Doesn't look like it's splitting at all. And that blue, and neither, well, the pink is a primary. I know that fluorescent fuchsia is a primary, so there's only one colour molecule in there. But the others look like they're all, the colours are staying together, which I find really interesting because that's not my experience with fibre reactive dyes at all. But I don't really know acid dyes as well. I haven't done as much experimenting with acid dyes. So this, I think, really interesting. I'm now going to leave this until the ice has melted. Since it is the middle of January and it's very cold at the moment, that's probably going to take a day or two, and then I'll be back to heat set this I haven't decided whether I'm going to steam set it or set it low immersion style. We'll see how much liquid there is in here once everything's melted. This has been sitting out in my shed for about 5-6 days now. So I'm hoping the ice is all melted. Should be, yeah, it feels like it. But as you can see, there is still a lot of dye left in here. What I want to do, I think if I try and put this in a kettle, then you can see the liquid is sort of a darkish blue. Oh, that one actually, it's not too bad there. But I think if I just put it in the kettle, then I'll get a blend of all the colours and I'll lose the pink and the blue and the pink there. So what I want to try doing is steaming this. Right, my pot is in the sink because of the amount of dye that is still in here. All right, and let's move that over. Now I can see, set this up, a lot of that dye has just come out now. So I'm wondering if maybe I should set this in a kettle. Yeah, that dye is just all dripping out. Now I wasn't expecting lots of the dye to, I wasn't expecting the water to be clear or anything, but I was hoping some dye might take, but it's all just dripping out now. So look, maybe I should put it in the kettle. I'm debating. It's warm in there. Yeah, see, all this, like this is not going to take any more colour, and I was hoping this to be like really dark. And see, it's dark on top where the dye was, but the rest of it is just all soaked through. Maybe I need to try this in the summer when there'll be a bit of heat to maybe set the colour to the yarn. Or the fibre. Yeah, because this is going to blend out really pastel. Yeah, I think I'll probably kettle it. You see, that is quite warm. I'm probably going to regret this and lose a lot of that colour, but too late now. I'm going to pour the rest of this in because look at just how much colour is in that. Pour that in. It's actually quite a purpley colour. It's really pretty. Okay, I'm going to take this over to the stove. First of all, I'm going to add a bit more vinegar. There was vinegar already in there, but a little bit more won't hurt. And you can see it's steaming nicely already. This is on low. I'm just going to cover this up and leave this for at least half an hour. I don't want to bring the heat up too much because I don't want there to be any agitation of the fibre. So maybe I'll just bring it up a little bit more, keep an eye on it and keep it covered for at least half an hour, probably more like 40-50 minutes. It's been over an hour, nearly an hour and a half actually, since I put this on the heat originally. I covered it up, increased the temperature and just let the dye bath heat up until there were some bubbles around the edges here. And then I uncovered it and just turned it down and just let it steam away like this for, it's been about an hour and 10 minutes now. So it looks like there's a lot of liquid left in this dye bath. Not liquid, dye. And yeah, that's a lot of colour. That's the fluorescent fuchsia that I used. Now I don't want to leave this in anymore. So what I'm going to do now is, I've got my rubber gloves on. I don't use these for cooking. None of this stuff I use for any sort of food. I'm just going to put my hands in this very hot dye bath. Because I don't, oh, that is hot, and transfer it to, I've got in here my steam basket in my washing up bowl. Oh, that is hot. Wouldn't be able to do this with the normal gloves I use, but I thought with rubber gloves, still very hot. Try getting all this fibre out. It's gorgeous colour, and I do still see some blue patches in it. So hopefully I haven't lost all of that colour. So if I can get out these last little bits. I feel like I need a sieve or a net or something to get these out. Spoon isn't really enough. I'm not going to waste this dye. I will be using it in another video. So keep your eyes open for that. I got most of the little bits of fibre out of the pot, and now I'm just going to let this cool down in here in my steam basket, in my washing up basin, washing up bowl, and just let it cool down, and then I can wash this later once it's completely cold. This fleece has cooled down now, so I'm going to very gently wash it in some cold tap water. I think I'm going to just take it out of that. Now I am expecting some pink runoff because there was pink dripping out of this once I took it out of the dye bath. It's looking quite good at the moment. Just going to add, should have done this before, add some washing up liquid. Now because this is fibre that I'm going to keep for myself, I'm not too worried about rinsing this until the water runs clear, because I am keeping it for myself. And then after I have spun this, you set the twist by soaking the yarn in warm water, and then you snap it to set the twist. So this won't be the only time this fibre gets washed. And there is a hint of sort of the dark colour in there at the moment. I'm going to pour this back into my steamer basket, hopefully not losing any of my fibre. Remember to put washing up liquid in this time. And again, just going to tip this out into there. I'm just going to let this soak. Maybe I put a bit too much washing up liquid in. So yeah, that water's looking pretty good. I'm surprised there's no pinks coming out actually. So I'm going to let this soak. Maybe some pinks will come out. I hope not. I'm just going to repeat this process a few times until I get rid of all of the soap. Again, as I said, I'm not too worried about the water being clear, although it's looking pretty good. And I'm surprised there's no pink actually. So yeah, I'm not going to move it too much. I'm going to let that soak. I'm going to change the water every 5–10 minutes or so, and then I can hang this out to dry. And here is my finished dried fleece. Now the colours have sort of blended together to create this gorgeous purple. It's looking very blue on camera, but in person it's a very warm purple, and I love it. There are still little bits of blue around, and there are some bits of black like here, and you can still see some pops of pink, but generally it's all blended together to make this beautiful warm purple, and I think it's great. I'd really like to try this experiment again in the summer when the heat from the sun will help to set some of the dye to the fibre, and we might get some more patches of those original colours. But I really love the way this has all blended together. I'm going to try and save some of these little pops of blues that I've got when I card this to make Rolags, but I'm not going to separate out any other colours. I've got my hand carders here, and I'm just going to start carding now. So just grab a little bit of the fibre and just pull it onto my combs, just like this. I'm in no way an expert on carding, so this is, yeah, I'm still learning as I go along. So I wouldn't take what I'm doing as, you know, the only way of doing it. You know. So I think I can put a little bit more on here. And the fibre isn't felted. It is a little bit sort of stuck together a bit, but you can see it's quite easily going onto my comb here. Right. And then just get the other comb and start from the bottom and just comb it. Sort of need to flick it up a little bit to get the fibre off. And I just work my way up the comb until like that. And then I swap sides and just comb it through again. So you're just pulling all the bits of fibre going in the same direction. And I notice I haven't actually cleaned my combs off properly because there's little bits of sparkle running through this. So I've just combed and carded this. This is some acrylic fibre yarn that I had that was single ply. And I thought, oh, I'm going to see if I can card this and spin it so it's 2-ply. And well, I have, but there's still some sparkly acrylic bits on here, which I'm not concerned about. I just noticed that. I thought I'd point it out. Okay, you can see the colours are all blending together and I think it looks great. There we go. So I've just done that a couple of times. Take the fibre off like that. Oh, there's a bit of muck there. That's all right. Just pull those bits of muck out, and then got yourself a little rolag. Now that's ready for spinning. I'm going to sit here and card the rest of this now. Phew, that took a long time to card all of this. I did separate out some blues, and so I have sort of 2 here which are more blue than the others. There's this one that's a bit more pink, but generally they are all this sort of beautiful purpley colour with sort of black running through it. Oh, this one might be a little bit darker. It's still coming up quite blue on screen. It's really more a warm purple than a cold purple. Not quite sure why my camera's not picking up on that. But now I'm going to divide this gorgeous pile of fluff to spin into some yarn. And here is my yarn all spun up. Now this started life as 100 grams of washed fibre like this. I didn't actually wash this fibre, I got it like this. And the person who washed this did a much better job than I do when I wash my fibre. I'm not very good at it yet. But you can see there is still bits of vegetable matter going through this. So once I sort of got rid of all the vegetable matter and there were some little slubs that just couldn't be spun up, I ended up with approximately 93 grams of spun yarn here, and I think it's great. I did try and get the blue bits together, so I've got a strand of blue there. There's a couple of strands of blue there, but really it's this sort of purplish colour. I did use a fluorescent dye in this. I used fluorescent fuchsia, so I am quite curious to see if any of that pink has bound to the yarn. There was an awful lot of pink left over. So let's turn that light off and bring in my UV light. This isn't perfect because it's the middle of the day, but doesn't really look like any of that pink bound to the fibre. That's interesting. I'm not disappointed, but it's just very interesting how that has worked, because I can't see any hint of fluorescent there at all. If anyone knows why the fluorescent dyes didn't bind to this fibre, please do let me know. I don't really know much about how the fluorescent dyes work, so if you know, let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I will definitely be doing this method again, but I'm going to wait until the summer months where the ice will melt a lot quicker. When I do this again, what would you like me to dye? Would you like me to freeze commercially spun yarn, or would you like me to freeze some fibre that I then spin up myself? Let me know. I publish a new video every Monday, usually around about 6 PM UK time, and I do like to try doing different things in my videos to make it interesting for you and to make it interesting for me as well. I like to do different things with my dyes, so there should always be something interesting to watch here on this channel. Thank you so much for watching.